While Dani is coming again, just to let you know that this is a conversation more like a bar or a virtual bar where we are among friends also. So yes, we like to be in the flow, and sorry if there is any inconvenience and everything. So it's not a super formal webinar, and it's just a random conversation that we hope we can do more around the globe with different B Corps, Multiplicadores B, people that are working with the B Corp movement, our partners, and everybody that is using business as a force for good or are doing initiatives to foster positive change in this new environment. So yeah, just an open conversation here. Dani, it's with you.
Fantastic.
Thank you, dear. So hello, everybody. I'll try to speak very slow. We obviously chose English to make it easier, but I can guarantee that we'll try to translate it as soon as possible to other languages as well. I am Daniela Lerário. I'm speaking from São Paulo in Brazil, from my home, obviously. Hopefully my kids won't interrupt our webinar. I'm the co-president of the board, the co-chair of the board of Sistema B here in Brazil for the past 2 years. And I'm very pleased to have this webinar with you. And I would like to thank Paolo for the generosity of his time. I will start with a quick context, and then we will open for Tomás to lead the way, okay? So as COVID-19 advances globally and challenges our economy, infrastructure, financial security, trust, leadership, and above all, our health, we reinforce our commitment to work towards creating a more inclusive, equitable, and regenerative economic system for everyone. For our first Interdependência-20 webinar, led by Tomás de Lara, co-founder and co-leader of Cidades B, and co-led by me, we invite businessman Paolo de Cesare, co-founder of NATIVA, first benefit corporation and certified B Corp from Europe, to share the lessons and positive changes that Italy is going through during this period. Paolo is a specialist in sustainability innovation trends with 20 years of experience in consumer goods, the pharmaceutical industry, and energy. Please, Tomás, could you lead the way?
Yes, thank you very much, Dani. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here in this open webinar. First of all, also thank for Paolo de Cesare, a good friend from the B Corp, to accepting the invitation and sharing all his learnings and the situation that is happening in Italy, which is the country that is taking the severe hard time now. So basically, my name is Tomás de Lara. I'm based in Rio de Janeiro. We are starting to see now some harder measures because also we are, would say, around 2 weeks behind Italy. But I'm from the board of Sistema B Brazil. I am now co-leading cities can be in the global, which is now a global initiative. And basically, the conversation here is for us to listen from Paolo, what he's feeling, how is his moment right now. And before asking for Paolo, I would like to make an invitation. It is a collective invitation for us to do 3 breathings together, okay? I know it sounds crazy, but we are all in our homes and we can stop a little bit and do 3 breathings just deeply. So stop a little bit and what you're doing and breathe deeply. And let it flow. Breathe in. Breathe out slowly. And the 3rd breath, very deeply. Let it slowly get it out. Note that the air now is more pure than ever in so many cities. I will share with you a link about it. And that is one of the positive things that we are going to see. So Paolo, again, thank you very much to be with us. I will ask for everybody in the chat to write in the chat, write their names, their city, and what is their organization or initiative. So just one sentence, write in the chat so we can all know each other via our chat, written chat, okay? And then Paolo, I have a question for you, my friend. So basically, tell me how you're doing amid this pandemic. What are the hardest challenges that you're facing personally right now? And what are the greatest personal learnings that you're having right now, please?
So first of all, it's a pleasure to be here. And when I received your message a couple of days ago, I was so happy to say yes. I didn't say yes exactly in that moment because I was playing card with my daughters. But as soon as I was ready, I could reply to you. And it's a pleasure, really a pleasure. So to meet all these friends that I have there in Brazil, in Latin America. And it makes me very happy because I feel part again of this huge community of people that want to do the best they can in this world. So yes, first of all, today is my 17th day in house, in my apartment. So I just went out twice for the garbages. That's it. So we are, my wife, Caterina, and my daughters, Alicia and Paola, they are 16 and 14. We are together in the house since, 2 weeks ago, for 2 weeks now. And it's a really strange situation because we are doing almost everything. We are studying, we are working, we are having conversation, we are cooking, we are playing cards, as I was saying, except we are not going out, okay, which is really strange because, I mean, this is a loss of freedom in a way, no? But it's, we decided to do that, like the large part of Italy. So I was actually looking at a website today, and in Rome yesterday it was the 4% of the traffic of a normal day before the COVID-19. Only 4%. So this means 96% less. All the entire community in Italy, all the population is locked in their houses. And fortunately, we had the chance to retrieve some phone numbers of little markets, of little stores that are open, that are serving the community, so we can call them and having enough food and fruit or whatever you need, deliver it at your place. So it's not only Amazon, it's much more, the community, the little markets that are still open and are really working for our health. We are waiting around 6 o'clock. There is the official announcement from the government about the new numbers of today. So we are all waiting for these numbers for a very important reason, because if numbers of death will continue to slow down, this will be the first day in a row with slowing down. Now, even if the numbers are impressive, are huge, okay? But 3 days in number will mean something from a scientific point of view. So maybe we are, inverting the curve, the exponential. And in Italy, there are, yesterday there were almost 300,000 tests done, 300,000 and 64,000 cases, 6,000 deaths. That brings to a percentage of almost 10%, which is amazingly larger than any other country in the world. Some scientists are saying that, there's also, it depends on what you put on the formula, okay? So let me say that. But in any case, it's a pretty big number. And we have been heavily impacted. And as you probably know, our health system is considered one of the best in the world. As you all know, it's totally for free for any person. And but nowadays, it's really under attack. It's a war. I mean, it's we know that that there is a that everything is under because of the numbers, because of the volumes. Okay, so nobody would expect such such a situation, you know. And so you don't design health system on a moment of crisis, you know. You design it on an average. So the average number of people that you expect to have in hospital. So this is not the case. But so all last Sunday, everything was locked down except some specific activities, business activities. So not only hospitals, but, you know, as you can imagine, markets, food, they're still up and running. But there is a blacklist of business they have to close. Okay. Of course, they can continue to work on remotely, but not all the work can be done on remote, no, as you know. And for what concerns NATIVA, our company, I co-founded NATIVA together with Eric Ezechieli, and we are working from home. We continuously work on webinars and you know, dealing with companies that we were already serving, and for our job of sustainability consultants. So people, they want to, there's this energy about the fact that people and companies want to keep going, you know. So they are actually you know, grabbing the phone and the computers in order to still doing, because we need to feel like we are still moving on. And there is a very bad situation. Someone say it's a war, but at the same time, we are you know, we are still lucky to be safe at our own places and working from here. So this is basically the situation. And just to finish the answer, I told you that I was thinking about a few words. One of the words that really are coming easily in my mind is the word resilience. I mean, of course, I'm not going to have a lesson about resilience with you, because I'm not the right person to do that. But I want to share with you a very simple fact and an example of resilience. And this is as a name, and the name is school. I mean, you can't imagine the transformation that we are living for school in Italy. Everything was completely moved online overnight. In night. I mean, I told you I have two daughters, 16, and they go to the high school. It was incredible to see them, all the students and the teachers and the professor, you know, coming together and try Zoom and then meetings and whatever. Then they found the right platform, you know, and they started from 8:15 in the morning up to 1 p.m., you know, with the normal lessons. Okay, so they doing lesson exercises, tests, everything in really overnight. I mean, they took 3 or 4 days to adjust the model. Let me say that, but then, you know, bluff, they deployed. They didn't even have the face of designers, of you know, people that want to create a new model. They just, you know, did it. They knew they had to act, and responded really proving an incredible resilience. I mean, if I had to explain resilience in the future, I will probably use this example, because it's a really example of how you can react and be flexible, and then you know, change everything. And you know, imagine for a moment if the Ministry of Education in any other moment of our lives would have decided to move the school online. So imagine for a moment, no? Okay, from next week, all the school will move to online. I mean, imagine the number of issues, technological, social, the processes, the unions. I mean, everything will actually will make this idea completely pointless. I mean, while they were able, because of the situation, by themselves, so students and teachers, I must say they both of them, they get together and they, deploy this online model, which is actually working, and I see that every day. So this is really amazing. And another maybe Italian way of reaction, which is more social. You probably notice that at 6 o'clock every day, 6 p.m., people go out from balconies and windows, and they start to talk to the people living in the building in front of yours, and they start to sing together national anthems, playing instruments, and this energy flows all around the country, and it's an amazing example, really emotional example of a unity, and so again, people needs to be together in such a difficult moment.
Yeah, let me get the two words that I really like, which is unity and resilience. I'm not a biologist, but I like to study a little bit of ecology and evolutionary biology. And resilience, as far as I understand, is also connected with interdependence, which is a word we use a lot in the B Corp movement. And an ecosystem or a living system is resilient when it's able to fit the different patterns of interaction and exchange of energy of a system. So I think it's very interesting what you brought about resilience, because when the system changes, and we, of course, with COVID-19, the system changes a lot in so many ways, we have to adapt to it so we can live and be resilient. And out of that, we learn that interdependence is a logical way of understanding our relation towards the other, because interdependence is the organizing principle of life, on how life evolves on Earth. So I think it's very amazing that you brought that word. We didn't even, combine before, so it's really good to bring that. So I will pass on to Daniela Lerario. Daniela, I have some questions from the people that subscribe to the webinar. Dani, please bring us the questions that you've received.
Thank you, guys. Paolo, thank you for sharing. I think it's very, very, I know already why we're here together. So it was very good to hear what you shared. Moving a little bit to the business perspective, right? So some of the questions were absolutely business oriented, and I think it's very important to bring that up. So how did COVID-19, how do you think that COVID-19 affected Italian companies' impact strategy? What happened? So we know that once a crisis like this comes up, everybody has just to, in Portuguese we say, change the wheels with the car moving. I think it would be changing the wings of the plane with the plane in the air. A little bit more complicated. So what do you feel from NATIVA, from your company also, but from examples of companies, how did, all this affected already the impact strategies of the companies in Italy? And a second question connected to that, is there any approach from companies to the government in solving the problem? So entering a little bit more of the business sector, how is the business sector reacting with impact strategies? And do you see any connection from the business sector to the government? Thank you.
Yes. So first of all, there's, we are also, of course, entering an economic crisis. So you think for a second about the tourism. So Italy is famous all over the world because of the millions of people that get in and get out from the country. So you can even imagine the impact, in this sense, the negative impact that this sector is already living and will be living, not only for the period of COVID-19, but maybe even afterwards, because nobody knows what's going to happen afterwards. You know, if we are going to be the same people, if we're going to be the same travelers, you know, let's see. So we are entering an economic crisis, but at the same time, you know, companies and business sector is trying to react, mostly focusing on impact. So on a side, you need to keep, you know, the wheels rolling because the business has to continue, of course. So you try harder to make it that way, but at the same time, there's you have additional time. You know, even if you're still in 24 hours a day mode, but you have additional hours. It's like you have additional time to think about the impact. So we have continuously example of good practices. So people that are, you know, companies that are doing something, you know, and there are example, of course, from the B Corp community. So there, you know, I can mention a few facts that happen. So for example, Davines, which is one of the most famous Italian B Corps, they work in the cosmetic sector. They converted one of the production line to produce this hand sanitizer gel, you know, this is which is actually missing in pharmacies and stores. So they reconverted one of the production line, and they're producing it, you know, and are delivering it to all the community in Parma where they operate. Parma is in the north of Italy, so it's one of the most heated area in Italy. Or but at the same time, from the south, we have similar companies and cosmetic companies. Big also is doing this, is delivering the hand sanitizer for free to the entire community. This was really the day after, you know, so it's not with really a strategy. So this is a reaction and you feel you need to do something. Or there is this company in Rome, Little Genius International. It's a school, it's a private school. And they are now delivering e-learning and you know, teaching children for free. Whoever has children are not in prepared school, they can actually have English lesson for free from their platform. Or Chiesi Farmaceutici. You probably know Chiesi is at the moment the largest B Corp outside America, no? So not including Natura and not including I think Danone North America. It's a pharmaceutical company. I can't share all the things they are doing, but I was shocked by one the statement or the concept that they shared with me was, I mean, I had the order from the president to serve all the needs that will be presented to us. You know, just do it. I mean, no matter what they're asking, just do whatever you can. You know, so they have 1,000 people working in the production because they need to still working because it's a strategic company in pharmaceutical. But at the same time, there are 3,000 people at home, you know, just doing things to serve the communities where the company is operating. So I must say that it's a kind of very positive situation in this sense because we need it. I mean, it's so clear that people need help. And so companies are inventing way of doing it. I can't tell about strategy because we are still in the first reaction period. So it's not already a strategy, but these are some examples that I wanted to share with you to let you understand the kind of energy that is the positive energy that you can really touch in the air.
That was amazing. I think we reached 2 other questions which were related to, can you share any real cases from companies that did something or survived by taking action? And you did it gratefully. Thank you. And obviously we can see that, you know, being at service is happening in Italy, right? So the government saying, please be at service. How can you help us together? So I think this is very good. And the other one was, is it is it possible to get any positive balance out of this crisis? But we can talk about this in the wrapping up, because I want to leave you all with hope and with a positive posture. So
first of all, I'm not sure there was a call to action for the government. I think companies are just doing it, it's people are doing it, so even if from home, so we are trying to, ask to the person who lived in the same building that usually I don't even meet, okay, but they need something. So that's, it's amazing to feel this positive energy. And in terms of other cases that I want to share, I mean, it's not only big corp, it's not only companies, even the larger one, but some innovation. So probably this is another word that I want to share with you in this moment. You probably are familiar with the word Jugaad, innovation. So it's an indie word that means innovation that arises in countries where obstacles are normally in number much larger than facilitation, so that's why it raised up in India, so that innovation that comes out from the lack of something, and of course we are probably at the moment in the world, we are more or less facing the same situation. So we are lacking something. So there are many obstacles at the moment because of the COVID-19. And but there are some stories that are incredible here in Italy, and I'm sure they are happening everywhere in the world. So for example, there is this doctor from Bologna who actually is striving, to survive, to make the hospital functioning with those volumes. And he called a friend of him and he said, we have ventilators, that you need this machine, ventilators, in order to keep the people living, because they can't use their lungs in automatic way. I'm sorry, this is not really perfect in English, but you got the sense. And so he called this friend of him who actually worked for a company and say, you need to help me, because I want to split the engine of the ventilators in order to use one engine and two ventilators. This guy went back to his company, and for 72 hours they were working on it. It's not just a split, because this is a life critical system. So it must be done in a proper way. So they developed a solution. So now with one engine, you can ventilate two different persons, okay? So this could mean to double the number of beds for people that are injured or they have the virus. And another one is that a guy who actually, probably you saw on the internet, they took this diving mask, the one made by Decathlon, the big one, that completely covered the face, and they transform it in a mask for the ventilators, and then now they are spreading all over the hospitals because it's, because you are missing those materials. So you can actually reconvert a diving mask, which we always look at in the beach like, come on, what is mask? Oh, no. And now it's actually useful because a guy was able to transform it. So this is the positive energy. Of course, there are also very, people that are blaming against the government, against the parliament, against the decision. You always have such people, especially a couple of very well-known politicians here in Italy. But the rest of the country, is really working. It's really trying to go out of this situation altogether. This is really touching for me, because I didn't know. We know that we are a country, that we love each other, especially during the football matches, But another thing is to see people in a moment, such a difficult moment, to try to stay together. And to help each other. So it's pretty nice. Interdependence, as Tomás said.
It's amazing indeed. It's where we find each other equal, right? It's how we see each other as same. Good. So changing a little bit to the role of the B Corp movement, right? So we're here, we're trying to engage. What is our role? So I've seen comments here saying that, you know, we are one of the best movements everybody knows. Are we doing enough? What is our role? Where should we be? How can we actually help those companies, not only B corporations, but the economy, since this is one of our missions? How can we be there and be strong and be creative to be able to go through this very, very tough period? Do you have any insights to share? I know there's no answers, a lot of questions probably, but what is the role of the B Corp movement within all this crisis?
Yeah, it's a very important role. I mean, it's we are having discussion and conversation with other B Corps and try to find, you know, new ways of you know, serving our communities. I mean, this is at the moment the key element. It's not about economy. It's not about, I mean, we are in a rush mode, so we need to serve communities. So that's why also the example that I presented were mainly focused on that. But we are also starting to think what we can bring to the society, you know, not only for the first days, but also on a long-lasting period. And you know, this is there is this huge conversation all around the world that I completely agree with the idea that the future will not be as the past. There's going to be before and after this situation, and so we have this incredible opportunity to design the future, no? And there is this wonderful phrase that I read yesterday in Spanish: "No volveremos a la normalidad, porque la normalidad era el problema." No, I don't know if you saw the picture. It's on a big building, no, and it's amazing. I mean, we are all. I mean, this is one of the conversations that are coming out the most. Is we agree on this. I mean, if you think about the fact that there are pictures of an incredible number of rabbits in the parks of Milan. There are pictures of ducks in the fountain in Rome. I mean, because we are not in the street, I mean, you know, nature is coming out. I mean, I didn't know that rabbits were living in Milan. I mean, there are now hundreds of rabbits around, okay? And so, la normalidad era el problema, no? So it means that we can try to fix some of the, you know, we can try to fix the system, as we say in the B Corp community. But it's not simple. I mean, because it's now the moment in which the B Corp community can present some bricks of the solution. I mean, I don't mean the solution, because to design from zero, from scratch, the new society after COVID-19 probably will be too much, not too complex. But I think we can bring some. I will focus on some brick of the solution, so that we can try at least to fix some of the problems and put it in post-COVID situation. So B Corp community, I think all of us, I mean, we're talking about us, we need to focus on some really pragmatic elements that we are, you know, that we see we can bring rapidly in the world after COVID-19. So not with the idea of changing everything, because at least the risk is too big to lose and to waste time, but to, you know, let's bring some of the things in the future, things that we believe in, no? This will be very, very useful.
Yeah, and if we're the ones to lead this, who will, right? So how could we actually take responsibility for the knowledge and for the opportunities that we do have and the community that we do have, and actually take action? So I think Tomás has another question to add. Would you?
Yes. First of all, so the questions are open now. So if anyone wants to bring a question, we will try to address it, and please write it on the chat so we can ask Paolo. And I would also just comment that this time of pausing, reflecting, and reinitiating our agency as economical active people, being entrepreneurs, B Corp or not a B Corp, just a business, or even being consumers. We like to say in the B Corp movement that B Corps try to create integral value, which means economical, social, and environmental value. And I don't know if you saw, but I will share on the chat also a article from The Economist, which says that it's already estimated that the COVID-19 destroyed $23 trillion already. So imagine when it goes within more 2 or 3 or 4 months. So when we are seeing the deep dive of a crisis that we will see it even further, I believe that a good way is to really try to reinitiate what we do, specifically understanding that we all must bring value towards society. As consumers, being more conscious, not only of what companies to buy, but also when to buy, do I need all that stuff? Is there too much packaging? So I will buy things without packaging. Fruits sometimes comes with a lot of packaging. People sell coconut with packaging, but come on, coconut is an amazing type of package. So yeah, I think it's a very good time for us to rethink, reflect as B Corps, as business, and how can we even bring more value towards society. So let me bring a question from Federico Belloni. He's asking this. We are seeing central banks dumping trillions of dollars to keep the economy on a lifeline with very marginal impacts for now. When this is over, hopefully soon, are there any takeaways vice versa the kind of public funds that can be mobilized for emergencies like climate change, inequality, etc.? And let me just bring 2 cents on it before bringing to Paolo. I've heard a webinar from a very interesting group of people where Paul Polman, the ex-CEO, the global CEO of Unilever was, and he said that if in some cases bailouts are going to happen and it's unavoidable, but the best way to do bailouts is to bring requirements with the bailouts and social and environmental requirements. So for example, for, I don't know, transportation industry, to move 20, 30% of this bailout of the investment of the money that the government, which is people's money, is put it to these companies, should come to the transition towards green energy, for example, or other issues tackling inequalities and lowering pay wages differences inside of companies. So I really liked that idea of positive bailouts where there is requirement for companies to really change their operation motto and way of doing business towards creating more integral value. So yeah, but just bringing the question for.
Yeah, we'll push it even more than that. So I watched the same webinar a few hours ago, so I know what you're talking about. And so when I was listening to his words, I was thinking of a situation. As you probably know, companies, or at least the largest company in the world, they have this business continuity plan, they call it, or risk management plan. No? So they have, in front of specific situation, they already prepare to do things. You know, I don't know, there is an earthquake, for example. So they need to protect the plants, then they have people moving, then they call it, they put stuff in a specific warehouses, whatever, okay? So they have business continuity plan. This situation, I mean, nobody would expect to face this situation. So it shows that government, state, they don't have society continuity plan. Okay, society means everything, even the economy. Society is not the larger ball. The larger one is nature, you know, the planet. We all know that. But society is larger than economy, right? So state they don't have society continuity plan. In front of COVID-19, in front of an earthquake, what should we do? Okay, so I think that they are going to prepare, to have those plans prepared for the future. And I totally agree with you. I think that from now on, they will consider to probably subsidize only benefit corporation. So company that already they want to have additional impact, not only the economic impact, but they want to have positive impact on society and on the planet. Okay, so I will put that. So only if you are a benefit corporation, in cases of society continuity plan, you will recognize as a company that can actually be target of specific economics subsidization, or whatever they would propose. So even more than that, not just having something, or having but to be recognized, to be a benefit corporation from the very, very beginning.
Totally. Let me get one more question here from Diego Ramos. What are the biggest economy trends we can expect after COVID? What would you say, Paolo, that you are advanced on us more time on quarantine and everything?
The big economy trends, you mean?
Yeah, biggest economy trends, like changing of.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
I have an idea, and if I were the CEO of Italy, so the Prime Minister of Italy, I would do that immediately. So, what we as citizens are understanding, we are understanding that there are jobs and there are skills and competence in any state that are very, very important. I already mentioned the teachers that, as I told you, they are proving to be resilient and to able to create a new level of relation with their students. I mean, I see, I hear, I listen to some of their word. There is love, there. Okay, so this is major. Not only them. I'm talking about doctors, nurses, the people, the truck drivers. I mean, these are the people that are still working, because I'm working from home, but these people are working in the streets. No? Okay, so we are going to change the position of this job in our mind. Okay, so these jobs, these people, agriculture, fruit seller. I mean, they have another level of importance. I mean, my job is not important as their jobs. I mean, their skills and competence. So I think that one really deserved economic trend would be to change the perspective of some of the jobs that are considered, not really important, because the most important, the one related to finance, for example. So we're going to change it, because we are all proving, we are all testing with our own experience, our lives, that those people are very, very important. They are doing their job as really civil servants, no more than just jobs.
Yeah, and I would just add that, of course, it's obviously, but because of quarantines and lockdowns and everything, people that did not work remotely are starting to work remotely. People that did not exercise in their homes started to exercise in their home. So it is really probable that commuting towards work, commuting towards different activities might slow down a little bit after the big pandemic, because we are getting used to be more at home, and it will probably have more a tendency for us to have more work at home and more virtual meetings. So this is something that will help traffic jams in the cities, air pollution, and even time. In Rio and Brazil, people that live in the margins of the city, right, in the favelas, they sometimes take 2 hours to go to work, 2.5 hours to go, and some 2 hours to come back. So imagine 4 hours, and then now it's changing. So I believe that people that really need to go commute will commute, and that will be a little bit on the side of interdependence, because do I really need to commute? Do I really need to take a car by myself and do a traffic jam and air pollution? So this new reflection is very important. Well, I will just pass on do you want to comment on that?
Just a few words. I totally agree. I mean, we are, as NATIVA, of course, we are already able to work. We already had experience to work remotely, but now we are doing things that we didn't expect that can be done remotely. So I don't want to say that a fishbowl, even if they try today. I know Tomás fishbowl from my first time. So you know, the magic of being together will stay magic. I mean, but at the same time, we are, you know, trying to force also ideas and habits that we couldn't consider that can be done remotely, and now it is possible. I mean, at the end, maybe it's not 100%, but it's 90%, and it's okay. I mean, if you're gonna save time, traffic, pollution, and blah blah blah. So we're gonna count this stuff more properly in the future.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I think having this question, is this really necessary? I think it's a good question that we really should have as a mantra, right? Yeah, you want to comment?
Yes, because these are the bricks I was talking about. So we are not, I mean, I will suggest not to force everything has to change, but this is one of the bricks, to put this question up before, you know, up in front of any decision would be much worthwhile to have it. So to improve.
Totally. Just before passing to Dani, I know she has another question. Let me share with you all. This is the first webinar of our new platform called Interdependência-20 or Interdependência-20. It's a platform that Sistema B Brazil created, and we are now putting open for the whole B Corps movement and everybody. So it's in English. This is the English version, and here's the Portuguese version, where we will be sharing inspirations, ideas from B Corps, different articles on what might inspire us from civil society, and also the webinars that are being recorded from B Corps all over the world and the B movement. So this is an open platform for everybody to help each other and to start working from now on with the interdependence logic in our minds. So yeah, let me pass to Daniela. Please, Dani, if you want to follow.
Thank you. So yeah, I would like to read this from Sistema B Brazil. I think it's Francine or someone that's leading the account in the name of Sistema B. Francine is our executive director here. And so she says, is this situation perhaps the chance to evaluate our work as a movement, and whether or not being a B Corp or benefit corp means more resiliency and an interdependent approach or not? So we have been discussing through the past 10 years, how do B Corps are more resilient to the crisis, right? So what we're trying to do here with the whole movement is, are we able to actually measure in this crisis with no precedent, right? We've never seen this before. Are we actually able to understand how much B Corps and benefit corporations will be more resilient? And I think the answer to that is one of the things Paolo was saying is about people, right? Maybe it's even more about people, about how we take care of our people, how we make decisions based on people, how we look or how we put our companies to serve. So to finish her comments, and perhaps rethink about the way we understand the creation of value for people and the planet. So I feel this is part of what this movement is doing. I think it's amazing that we're here connected with more than 140 people trying to see each other, support each other, listen to each other, and share good practices. So we have 9 minutes to close. And what I would like to do, Paolo, is that maybe if you want to take this few minutes to share with us a message. So we have people from We have, I think, 70 or 75 people from Brazil, but a lot from Latin America and from all over the world. So sitting in your house in Rome, it's getting darker. I can see from the window. What could you share with us? Do you have a final message so that we can, be inspired by you?
This is a very difficult question, but I mean, it's it's one thing that I want to share with you. So to close, I mean, I don't know the future. I don't know what's going to happen in the next day all over the world. By the way, this is something that is going to impact all the world. One suggestion that I have, I'm sorry to say this, but it's to try to anticipate the decisions that were made in other countries. So we having, aperitivo on Skype every night with friends, and we always say to each other, stay home, okay? Stay good, stay at home. So that's the kind of message. So because it's gonna help all the others to serve who are in need, because again, only a percentage of the population is got infected, but it's a big volume in terms of numbers. So the infrastructure is not built for that. It's not designed for that number. So if we stay home, we facilitate also the work of people that are forced to work, on the front line. But one very personal things that I can share with you is that, I'm spending the whole day, 24 hours a day in my house with my family. Okay, so it's an incredible opportunity. It's really an incredible opportunity to, to discuss and to play, to have game together, to cook. So we are really changing the agenda of the day. So my wife and I, we are, really writing down what we're gonna do tomorrow. So for example, we have every day at 1 o'clock, we have Pilates. Okay, so we all together, we four in front of the TV, because we have this video that we download somewhere with a Pilates lesson. We do Pilates. I mean, this is the way, I mean, a person should actually approach the situation, because otherwise it's gonna be only television listening to very bad and sad stories. So you can live, and you can get the most of this situation as well. Then, and it is important also to spend some time not doing nothing, because one of the things that is happening, I mean, that most of my time was actually to do things, blah blah blah, and go take the train and go to Milan and come back to Rome and go to Venice, and having a conference call, and then at the end of the day, you were rushing all day long, and you don't find the time for otium. Okay, I don't know if you say otium in Portuguese. Maybe it's a very similar word, but it's a fundamental human need to not do anything. I mean, to spend some time not doing anything, really anything. So, so this is a moment in which you can, spend time with your family, with your friends, maybe on Skype, and having a valuable conversation, and discovering probably the real speed of life, because we are imposing to life a speed, a velocity, I mean, which is not the natural one. And so this is a moment for most of the people to reflect on this, and this is one of the brick that we can bring on the other side, after COVID-19. And to putting the right hierarchy in terms of jobs and profession, as I said, in terms of things to do and things not to do. Do I should take the train or not? The question that Tomás was suggesting. I mean, it's can I do that online? Can I have a phone call instead of running in that place for half an hour? And then So this is, but again, I want to finish with this. It's not going to be, because this change is costing life. especially the life of elderly. I mean, this is a very sad thing, you know, because in Italy, you know, most of the deaths, which are more than 7,000 right now, okay, they are from people with age above 60 or 70 years old. I mean, is now infecting also younger generations, but mostly in that side. So we are, think about how sad it is, you know, to lose all the knowledge and experience and the competence of these people that we are losing. So because it's costing, it's a period that has a cost. I mean, we need to really focus on some, maybe 4 or 5 bricks that we can want to build in the future. So I really look forward for the B Corp community in each of the countries to reflect what will be the 4 or 5 things that we can bring on the other side of COVID-19. And let's focus on that all together. Let's find the 5 all over the world that are most important for all the B Corp community, and let's focus on them.
Wow. That sounds
But, by the way, at the moment they are singing the national anthem. I don't know if you can hear it, but people are doing it.
Thank you. Thank you. So for me, it's grazie mille per il tuo tempo. Hope we have good news at 6 o'clock. We're all hoping to hear that Italy is managing to put it down and to see each other in unity and with love and with no more deaths. So, Tomás, do you want to say something?
Yeah, just say 2 things. First, I think an inspiration for us is to understand what we should leave and let it go out of our old selves. So let it go. This is not part of myself, not part of me as an entrepreneur, as a consumer. And also we have to be open on what it emerges, what it is new, and really listening to other people, really being open to what emerges and we feel that vibrate positively with us and the world. And to say my few last words, Paolo, thank you very much. From the bottom of my heart, you are a person that inspires me a lot as a human being, as an entrepreneur. So I'm really, really grateful for you to have your time for us from the bottom of my heart. Let's be together. Let me know if you need anything that we can help from Brazil. We are together on this.
We need good vibes, and we will send them back to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll send you.
Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you, everyone. Ciao.
Ciao a todos.
Obrigado.
Tchau.
Bye, bye.
Obrigado por participar. Tchau, tchau.
Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao.